There's no offense. Give up the possessions as much as you know. Let's see flashes of counters once in a while, and then if it's one chance, let it be one goal. If it's two chances, there will be two goals. That's the only way they can survive this Argentine team. Then they are not going to be. I think people are already sounding out on social media that it's Lionel Messi won, Australia nil. So of course, looking forward to more goals from Lionel Messi. That's what it looks like.
Next on the line is His Excellency Ibrahim Hassan Dankwambo, former governor, Gombe State.
Tell them to go offensive. They need to be more enterprising. The best way to defend is also to attack. Yeah, they shouldn't sit back. I think.
It is an established fact that drug abuse and illicit trafficking are twin-headed global problems that have devastating consequences. Nigeria is not insulated from the menace, which explains the establishment of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, to check the problem. The agency has been doing much to tackle the menace, especially in the last 2 years, when the fight against drug abuse and trafficking in the country recorded successes, with drug seizures, arrests, and convictions related to the illegal business. Despite these efforts, however, more Nigerians between the ages of 15 and 64 still abuse drugs, while 1 in every 4 drug user is said to be a woman. This remains a concern, not only because drug abuse constitutes a social problem, but also because of the effect on health. While this social problem was mainly urban-based, reports now show that it also thrives in rural areas. Those who know say drug trafficking, terrorism, kidnapping, and money laundering are all entangled and interrelated. So, Nigeria, like all countries of the world, is working to urgently stop drug abuse and trafficking in its track by taking measures to rid the society of drugs and criminals. And that's our focus on Weekend File tonight. Femi Babafemi, Director, Media Advocacy, NDLEA, joins us via Zoom, while Dr. Hope Omaiza, National Coordinator, Vanguard Against Drug Abuse, joins me in the studio. I'm Henry. John, thank you for joining us. But first, the news. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo departs Abuja today for the Socialist Republic of Vietnam for high-level bilateral engagements in a Southeast nation, including meetings with the President of Vietnam, the Vice President, the Prime Minister, and other government officials and the business community. The Vice President's reciprocal visit to the Southeast Asian nation will further strengthen trade and bilateral relations between both countries. During the visit to the Socialist Republic of Vietnam, the Vice President is expected to witness the signing of Memorandum of Understanding and agreements between Nigeria and Vietnam, as well as hold high-level diplomatic discussions with his Vietnamese counterpart and other important issues on trade, commerce, agriculture, technology, and innovation. Professor Osinbajo will also participate in a business forum at the Vietnamese Chamber of Commerce aimed at matchmaking entrepreneurs from both countries, with the opportunities existing in agriculture, technology in Nigeria and Vietnam. Discussions by both countries will focus on mutual benefits from effective collaboration in these sectors and thereby deepen the friendly and trade relations of both countries. The Vice President will conclude the Vietnam visit on Wednesday. And back home, President Muhammadu Buhari has charged the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPSS, to follow dynamics in politics and guide the nation on the application of global best practices. He stated this in a message to the graduation of NIPSS Senior Executive Course 44 2022. Ndiang Adeyaba Gang reports.
Members of the Senior Executive Course 44 have been found worthy to be conferred with the prestigious title Member of the National Institute, MNI, after undergoing 10 months of rigorous training.
I feel fulfilled. I also have this sense of commitment.
President Muhammadu Buhari, represented by the Minister of Transportation, Muazu Jaji Sambo, while noting the contributions of the National Institute, challenged it to be at par and even surpass the best think tank amongst policy institutes in the world.
This administration, like the one before it, find in need a strong and dependable ally.
The Emir of Kano, Aminu Ado Bayero, and Governor Simon Lalong, represented, as well as other critical stakeholders, emphasized the need for the institute to draw up a standard foreign policy for Nigeria for its development.
The role of the National Institute in the Nigerian Development Project has become increasingly vital.
Representative of President Buhari also inaugurated the NIPSS Community School and a weather station constructed and donated to the institute by Sec 44.
The president has said this is one of the best sets he has had to engage with. And of course, we have seen for ourselves the kind of projects they have also done.
The Legacy Project is part of the Sec 44 social responsibilities to the institute, the host community, and the state in general. In Jos, Ndenyan and Abuja, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Nigerian science and technology field in academics is recording spike in the number of graduates. However, the sector is yet to be practically impactful, and this was a major issue of discussion as the African University of Science and Technology held its 9th convocation. Abdullahi Musa Suleja reports.
Apart from other sectors, science and technology play a pivotal role in advancement of every nation. In Nigeria, however, the sector is still dominated by imported technologies, with local university yearly graduating students in the field populating the labor market searching for white-collar jobs. This is the challenge at African University of Science and Technology in Abuja. They created 145 students cutting across different levels of certificates. Speaking on the power of sustained self-confidence, Executive Vice Chairman, National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, Professor Muhammad Mwaliwa Sani Haruna, dwelled on faith, enthusiasm, ambition, and resourcefulness.
I understand that the graduates are from Cameroon, Sudan, South Sudan, Rwanda, Zimbabwe, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Liberia, and Nigeria. I had 3 other countries that were not in my list to make it 11. It is how much of your talent, know-how, and training that you can go out and deploy to attend to these African problems that is your value addition and not your degrees. Nobody will come from outside to bail us out. We have to work hard to build our continent.
The university is not just doing research, but also being able to do innovation and startups and also contributing to the productive economy.
The university was established as a response to a request by several African heads of state to grant an appeal by the then South African President Nelson Mandela to create an African Center of Excellence to improve Sub-Saharan Africa in science and technology. Abdullahi Musa Suleja, NTA News.
And still in education, as part of efforts aimed at tackling the growing trend of examination malpractice in the country, the National Examination Council, NECO, at a one-day workshop has called on stakeholders to rise up to the challenge as the menace has become an issue of national concern. Iyabo Wali Eri reports that the workshop was in collaboration with the National Assembly Committee on Universal Basic Education.
Credible statistics shows that over 50,000 students are involved in examination malpractice annually. The National Examination Council noted that the menace remains the biggest challenge bedeviling the conduct of public examinations in the country. The workshop is described as timely as it will address the ways and means that can be adopted to curb the cankerworm.
Some stakeholders in education are doing their best to make sure that exam malpractice is curbed. It has still continued to be a cankerworm in the education sector.
The Minister of Education, Adamu, in his message, charged the nation's examination body to be more proactive in dealing with the menace.
Examination malpractice has become so serious and critical that we must adopt the best method of detecting and preventing this measure.
Governments prosecute the offenders. Parents, give your children good training and stop participating in examination malpractices.
If you look at how a parent, a mother or a father will want to aid a child to cheat in an examination, then you will wonder what the wish of such a parent is.
Some states collect this money and they do nothing with it, they divert it, and there is no sanction against such states. So I believe that the starting point is for people in a position of authority to take responsibility.
It is now obvious that examination is being judged by the certificate. Let the principal be protected by enacting laws that will protect the principal from harassment.
The workshop has been scheduled to take place in other zones of the country. In Lagos, Iyabo Wale Eri, NTA News.
And away from education, Nigeria is working to achieve net zero emissions in energy consumption with the adoption of renewable energy sources for power supply. Joshua Ojito reports that in meeting the target for energy transition, the federal government unveiled a roadmap for implementation.
2060 is Nigeria's target date to achieving net zero emissions and close the energy gap. With potential for solar, wind, biomass and abundant gas deposit in the country, sector players believe Nigeria is on the right path in meeting its energy transition plan. A roadmap unveiled by the Energy Commission of Nigeria with opportunities for investment and job creation in the renewable energy subsector.
Remap report on Nigeria demonstrates how the renewable energy resources of Nigeria can be integrated and scaled up to achieve a sustainable energy mix.
Indeed, in the report it's indicated that the potentials of harnessing solar PV for electricity generation is up to over 200 gigawatts, and for concentrated solar power about 80 gigawatts. So there are greater potentials that we can exploit.
The issue of net zero is not absolute zero. The meaning is that we can still continue to use oil and gas emitting, but then as years come by, we'll be absorbing the emission through two major schemes. One is the issue of carbon capture and sequestration, and the second one, which environmentalists like a lot, is the plantations of trees.
While federal government is deploying solar hybrid plants to unserved and underserved communities, the consensus among sector players is for government to sustain advocacy on the need to adopt renewable energy sources for power supply. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Elsewhere, the operation of an effective audit system in both public and private sectors will serve as panacea to address the issue of misappropriation of funds and corrupt practices at all levels of government. This was the submission of internal audit practitioners at a fellowship and national dialogue session in Lagos. Abolade Salami brings us details.
Maintaining efficiencies in regular operation towards achieving reliability of financial statements in both public and private organizations depend largely on the effectiveness of internal auditors. Towards this end, internal audit practitioners are comparing notes on how best to ensure compliance with ethics of the profession.
Our legislators, they should look into the practice of internal auditing in Nigeria
and come up with, a position that will protect and ensure that internal audits is conducted effectively.
So for the auditor to be able to perform his duty well, he or she must have this independence of mind, must have the free rein to be able to do his work without fear or favor.
Identifying strategic plan, proper management of funds, and a strong internal control mechanism as measures capable of preventing collapse of business, as well as reduce risk in an organization where internal audit is not compromised. Practitioners added that competence and credibility must be prioritized.
So automatically it means that if internal auditors do what they are supposed to do, we have law-abiding organizations, we have law-abiding individuals.
Internal control in any organization, if it's effective, it will reduce fraud to a greater extent.
The 2022 Fellowship and National Dialogue meeting has as its theme internal auditing, tool to effective risk management, governance, control, and compliance, a panacea to address corruption menace. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
You're watching Weekend File on the network service of the NTA. Time for a break. When we come back, we shall talk politics. Please stay.
The next edition of the PNB Administration Scorecard Series will feature the Honorable Minister of Water Resources, Engineer Suleiman Adamu. Date, Monday, 5th December 2022. Time, 10:30 a.m. Venue, National Press Center, Radio House, Abuja. The event will be covered live by NTA, FRCN and VON and streamed on the social media handles of the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. Announcer, Mrs. Lydia Shehu Jafia, MNI, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Fighting here and there, we don't want it at all. Killing people today tomorrow, we don't want it at all. And we don't want separation. You do your own, I do my own. Make you go. No. We don't want that one. We may quarrel and disagree, but let it be on the table of dialogue. No blood, chaos, war, violence. Let us stand with our nation as one people. And we must also stand for the armed forces. They are our husbands and wives. They are our brothers and sisters. Please support the armed forces, whose lives are always on the front line to protect our nation. Nigeria is your own, Nigeria is mine, Nigeria is our own. And uniqueness is in our oneness. Our oneness is our strength.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, on behalf of the officers and soldiers of the Nigerian Army, announces the commencement of the Chief of Army Staff Annual Conference 2022 with the theme, Building a Professional Nigerian Army for the 21st Century Security Environment. Date, the 4th to the 10th of December 2022. Venue, International Conference Center, Kasarawa, along Sultan Abubakar III International Airport Road, Sokoto State. Time, 8 a.m. daily. Nigerian Army, pride of the nation. Announcer, Brigadier General Oyema Wachuku, Director, Army Public Relations.
Good day ahead.
New Ovaltine 3-in-1. Smart choice for smart kids.
My people, my name is Emeka. Meku's Kamat. Let me get all this people. I don't learn my lesson. Somebody come buy motor for my hand, carry big money, come give me. Now when we get bust, then my eye open. I don't know to that 419 be. Now when EFCC grab them, man, they come grab me too. Now he make me, they warn you. All of them, I want to do business like me. Where they carry big money, when I go, sometimes I go carry transfer, carry bring back. Look when I shine on my eye because the special control unit against money laundering, what they call SCUMO, they don't want to say if the money pass 5 million naira for individual,
no collect them. If you pass 10 million naira for company, no collect them. Carry go where? Bank. If you no do them like that, 250,000 naira for every day where this offense happen. Or they go suspend your license, or they go shut them down. Matter for your hand. No talk say I know 1 year.
This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
Nigeria, get ready. Industries, get ready. The die is cast and all is set for the first ever National Environmental Compliance Awards, NECO. Deserving facilities in different sectors will receive the award for their compliance with environmental regulations. These awards will be presented by the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR. Date 6 December 2022. Venue, the Conference Center of the Presidential Villa. This event is powered by the National Environmental Standards and Regulation Enforcement Agency, NESRA, a power statute of the Federal Ministry of Environment. Hashtag NESRA Award 2022. NESRA, ensuring a cleaner and healthier environment for all Nigerians.
Welcome back. The PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar has advised the general public not to fall victim to any empowerment scheme purported sponsored by him. Statement by the media advisor to Atiku, Paul Ibe, notes that this is a scam orchestrated by fraudsters and advised security agencies to investigate the source of the said scheme. Meanwhile, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, says his rescue and recovery mission is all-inclusive, conceptualized to bring succor to the generality of the Nigerian populace. The former vice president made a comment at the inauguration of Persons Living with Disabilities arm of the PDP Presidential Council. Onotu Yakubu reports.
Available statistics indicate existence of between 20 to 31 million persons living with disabilities in Nigeria. Amongst them is the patron and gubernatorial candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Niger State, as well as one-time member of the National Assembly, Senator Hayatu Gwarzo, and members of some state assemblies constituted in this council. National chairman of the PDP, Senator Iyocha Ayu, inaugurated the council, which will be directed by the only PDP member in the Zamfara State House of Assembly, Salihu Usman Zurmi.
It means integration, and PDP believes and accepted people with disability are voting massively.
I believe that as a country and as a people and as a party, the only way forward for those living with disabilities is to work to ensure that Atiku Abubakar becomes next president of
PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, who eulogized the invaluable contributions of the persons living with disabilities to national growth and development, pledged immediate implementation of the 5% reservations for them by law to harness inclusion for equal opportunities if given the mandate.
The most important thing is that you are a productive part of our population. In other words, you contribute your own quota as far as our development is concerned in various sectors of our economy.
Beating its chest as the only party with the instrument to entrench persons living with disabilities-oriented initiatives, the PDP charged the council to consciously harness consultations with external stakeholders to form acceptable templates and utilize their strength to ensure that the party coasts to victory next year. Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
Similarly, the All Progressives Congress national leader of the People Living with Disabilities, Tolu Bankole, has expressed confidence that the plight of the physically challenged will be further enhanced if APC retains power beyond 2023. Tolu Bankole was speaking during a media briefing in commemoration with the International Day of People Living with Disabilities. He said the theme for this year's celebration, Transformative Solutions for Inclusive Development, calls for actionable approach towards addressing critical needs of persons living with disabilities.
Disabilities to recognize the dignity, achievements, and essential contributions of Nigeria's over 25 million persons. This means about 1 in every 8 Nigerians live with at least one form of disability. In a country where the physically challenged face constant discrimination, especially in the female labor markets.
Quickly appreciates the breakthroughs recorded in entertainment, economic and socio-political spheres of the country, and says with more recognition given to the persons with, the nation will be a center for global attraction. Meanwhile, Tinubu Shetima 2023 Presidential Campaign Council wants supporters to fully equip themselves with the permanent voters card as a tool to work for the victory of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Kashim Shetima. Secretary to the Campaign Council, James Falake, while receiving an office donated to the council in Abuja, acknowledged the enthusiasm of party members across the country. Salihu Gwanara reports.
From Jos to Ebonyi, Lagos and Bayelsa, the APC Presidential Campaign Council's Secretary, James Faleke, says the support for Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Kashim Shetima shows members' readiness to renew the hope agenda of the party's presidential candidates. Gesture like these by the National Agenda for Greater Asiwaju with the slogan, knocking on the door, he agrees, is a timely effort that should be translated into mobilizing support towards electoral victory.
We want people like you to contribute to show love to others and, of course, to bring Nigeria to a level that will be enviable for other countries. We pray that by the grace of God, come February 25th, elections will be free and fair. And we use this opportunity to tell Nigerians to please go out and collect your PVCs.
This is a corporate office for Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Shetima. We want to deliver 2.5 million votes for Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
We are focused on what we are doing. Our own is knocking on the door, moving from door to door to ensure that we get out the votes.
The office complex located in the heart of Abuja is expected to add value to the Tinubu Shetima campaign in Abuja. Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
And still talking politics, the APC Presidential Campaign Council has described as shocking the continuous invitation from Arise TV, inviting its presidential candidate Bola Tinubu for a presidential town hall debate, despite repeated replies that Bola Tinubu will not participate. A statement by the Director, Media and Publicity, Bayo Onanuga, the APC Presidential Campaign Council has its program of activities that the party is following religiously, and participation in any other forum is the prerogative of the candidate. Now, former President of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, says this is the right time for Nigerians to learn from their past lessons and make the right decision in the interest of the country. This was at a public presentation of a book in his honor entitled The Letterman, held in Abuja. Salihu Gwanara reports.
It was consensus at this forum of Nigerians from all walks of life, including former Nigerian leader Olusegun Obasanjo, that so much is yet to be achieved from the God-given human resources to sustain and showcase the right leaders that will positively turn around the country's fortune for prosperity. They believe the time is now for Nigerians to make the right choice for the betterment of the country.
I believe the right lesson must be learned. We have all that we need to have. God has given us all that we need to have. That we are not doing what we should do is not God. God is not to blame. We should blame ourselves.
Many here, including the representative of the APC presidential candidate, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Femi Fani-Kayode, says the former Nigerian leader Olusegun Obasanjo has made impact as an architect of a modern Nigeria.
But President Obasanjo is assured of a very special place in the history of Nigeria, the history of Africa, and indeed the history of the world. He's extremely intelligent, very discerning, very sharp, very firm, very, very tough, and most importantly, he's very patriotic. He loves this country with a passion.
Authored by Musiliki Mojid, the 466-page book, The Letterman, chronicles the secret letters of the former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo. In Abuja, Saliu Gonara, NTA News.
And then security, the Office of the National Security Advisor has launched a program tagged Nigeria Call for Action. The program is to guide treatment of children associated with terrorist groups and to place Nigeria in a global peace map.
It is observed that terrorists perpetrate their violent activities through the recruitment and exploitation of children. This development made the federal government to adopt holistic approaches to prevent and respond to violence against children by terrorist groups. The Nigeria Call for Action Initiative, a collaborative effort between the federal government and the United Nations Office on Drug and Crimes, has a clear-cut mandate.
With this important document, the Nigerian government have further strengthened the mechanism to prevent and respond to violence against children. It is our hope that the document will provide direct support and guide in protecting children from terrorism.
I want to assure you that the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs is ever available, ever ready with its team of experts to technically explore the contents and make the best uses of the Nigerian Call for Action.
Together with the European Union, we join the international community, including many members of the groups of friends on children in armed conflict present here today, in congratulating the government on these critical achievements, and we look forward in working with all the partners towards the effective implementation of this very important initiative.
Stakeholders described the program as timely as Nigeria addresses the myriads of security challenges confronting her. Recruitment of young ones, if not tackled early, they say, could be a time bomb.
In other news, the Nigerian Television Authority has pledged to support the costs of the One Umma initiative, which drives to support the vulnerable in the north. Abdulmalik Hassan reports.
But still the fight rages against substance abuse and illicit drugs in Nigeria, and for as long as it subsists, drug abuse and trafficking. The One Umma Scholarship Program for Less Privileged targets orphaned and vulnerable children, especially those affected by insurgency, with a new hope of attending school. They are here at the Nigerian Television Authority in furtherance of their agenda.
Currently, we have 408 of them in school across Maiduguri, Yola, and here in Abuja. To try as much as possible and see what can we do to reduce the number of out-of-school children. That's why we deem it fit to come here to see if there's any collaboration that NTA and One Umma can do to see that we'll be able to achieve our objective.
When we look at it, we can say Northeast is now more peaceful than the Northwest. So all this thing, the government, as you said, is doing its best. And that is social responsibility which we can take without asking a call. So I assure you, all your programs will be aired without charging a single cop. Thank you.
Much hope given, the future of the children appears brighter. Abdulmalik Hassan, NTA News.
Time for another break. Please stay.
It's joy to the world.
Oh yeah, it's that time of year again.
FRCN, NTA, and Voice of Nigeria Service of 9 Lessons and Carols ushers us into the joyous mood of Christmas.
With beautiful renditions from different choirs that will lift our spirits.
Theme, Fear Not.
Venue, National Christian Center, Abuja.
Date, 4th December 2022.
Time, 3 p.m.
Message giver, His Eminence, Most Reverend Daniel Oko, President, Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN.
Special guest of honor, His Excellency, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, GCON, Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Hosts, Directors General, FRCN, NTA, and Voice of Nigeria.
Chief host, Alhaji Lai Muhammad, Minister of Information and Culture.
FRCN, NTA, and Voice of Nigeria Service of 9 Lessons and Carols, supported by Christian Association of Nigeria.
Come worship with us as we celebrate Christ, the newborn King.
Be there.
In a third final in 20 years.
Out of this road, now you can get a GoTV decoder, GoTV, and 1 month of GoTV Jolly for only 4,900 naira, and enjoy all the show-stopping games live from Qatar on GoTV.
Welcome back. The renewed clampdown on drug trafficking and abuse by the NDLEA has further exposed the dangers of this illicit practice, especially among youths. But winning this war is not the responsibility of the NDLEA alone. Let's hear from Abdul Malik Hassan on the issue of the social problem.
Hard fought, but still the fight rages against substance abuse and illicit drugs in Nigeria, and for as long as it subsists, drug abuse and trafficking both stand as setbacks to the attainment of some of Nigeria's national goals. It is believed that 1 in every 3 households is affected by this problem, though many seem oblivious of the gravity of the challenge. About 5 months ago, I met up with an addict whose identity we have chosen not to disclose in this report. His supposed place of abode, which incidentally doubles as his business premise, is noticeably a stone throw from a subtly disguised drug trade joint, which through business is known by the locals in Suleja community, Niger State. I have reached the stage that if I don't take drugs, I can't work, even though I wish to stop. Between January 2021 and October 31st, 2022, the Anti-Narcotics Agency has arrested 23,907 suspects, with many seizures and prosecutions. And while the wheels of justice grind slowly, the campaign against illicit drug trade continues, with some even criticizing the courts for allegedly being lenient on suspects.
And cases where some of the dealers were fined 3,000 naira in the courts. They pay it right there and walk away free men to continue with the activities.
We have removed all of those 2,000, 3,000 that the acts allowed as fine. We have made it stiffer.
The projections that have been given for 2030 that says that in Africa we'll have a 40% increase. That actually should give us serious cause for concern.
The idea is for governments and organizations to focus more on prevention activities.
The war on the illicit drug trade and abuse in Nigeria is multifaceted. The NDLEA had on June 10th, 2022, launched a helpline 0800 10 20 30 40 to assist those dying in silence. Abdul Malik Hassan, NTA News.
Many thanks, Abdul Malik, for that background report. And as activities of drug peddlers through trafficking and substance abuse continue from different dimensions and threats to internal security, the war against illicit drugs has further been pushed to the doorstep of Nigerians to take the lead, even as government intensifies efforts to rid the society of the menace. In this report, Adeola Komiakere highlights the successes recorded in consolidating the fight against illicit drug trafficking and abuse.
The NDLEA between January and September 2022 arrested a total of 19,341 suspects involved in illicit substances abuse and trafficking, of which 28 are drug barons. Also in April, 101 parcels of cocaine concealed in children's duvets was intercepted at the MMA Ikeja, while in October, another 146,000 pills of tramadol weighing 225 milligrams were seized in Oshodi. One of the biggest seizures in 2022 is the 194 billion naira worth of cracks intercepted in August from an international cartel in the Ikorodu area of Lagos, considered to be the single largest seizure so far.
We are sending a message to drug dealers. There's no need thinking you can hide. We will get you wherever you are.
Stakeholders are intensifying efforts to frustrate activities in the supply chain.
Bandits, Boko Haram, they use all these substances to charge them up in a way to allow them carry out their dastardly acts. It is our responsibility to ensure that illicit items do not find their way in.
Without intelligence, little can be achieved. There has to be constant raid of the identified chains to ensure that the National Drug Law Master Plan of 2021 through to 2025 is sustained. All and sundry should be passionate about winning the war against illicit drugs and substance abuse for a healthier society. In Lagos, Adeola Komiakere, NTA News.
All right, and joining me now in the studio to talk more on this issue is Femi Babafemi, Director, Media and Advocacy, NDLEA, or rather, he joins me via Zoom. Femi Babafemi, Director, Media and Advocacy, NDLEA. Can you hear me? Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Babafemi, can you hear me? All right, while he tries to fix his audio, joining me in the studio is the coordinator of Vanguard Against Drug Abuse, Dr. Hope Omeza. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
All right, do we have Babafemi on now? All right, so while I'm sure we'll connect with him in the course of the program, I'll quickly just start with you, Dr. Omeza. You watched those two reports, and of course NDLEA is doing so much, to get rid of this illicit trade and of course drug abuse. Why do you think it's still an issue, and if you may say, on the increase?
Well, it's still an issue because today we have new population of people who get into the use of these substances. Which is why the discussion on consolidating the efforts with respect to eliminating or reducing drug abuse and the trafficking is important. Yeah, so it means that we need to work more on the feats that have been achieved by the NDLEA as we see in the report today, the NDLEA has done so much in terms of clamping down on drug traffickers. You know, between January 2021 and August this year, there have been a lot of seizures ranging up to about 5.4 million kilograms of hard substance substances, and they've also, you know, arrested about 21,302 suspects of traffickers, as well as 28 drug barons. So this is an unprecedented achievement, and which need to be consolidated upon. I think that is why this discussion is important at this time.
Okay, great. But what about the campaign that was launched about a year ago? That's talking about the war against drug abuse. How would you rate the success of that campaign?
Yeah, I would say that the war against drug abuse is the campaign tagged war against drug abuse has achieved. You know, with the recent, with the leadership that the agency currently has, that is putting everything on point to ensure that there is progress and results. However, we need to do more in terms of prevention. I think the discussion as it regards to drug trafficking and drug use majors basically on two components of drug control. One, which is drug supply, and second, which is drug demand reduction. The agency as it stands today, the NDLEA, I'm aware they have departments on these key areas. Now, so far, most of the successes being popularized by the agency major on the drug supply reduction, which concerns seizures, clamping down on drug traffickers and the drug barons. Now, it's important that we begin to look at the drug demand reduction. I'm also aware that the agency have, you know, done so much in terms of drug demand reduction, as that's to do with the toll-free
the toll-free number,
which
was mentioned by one of our reporters.
Yeah, I also know that they give free counseling to people and have some of these pick-up centers where they are able to do counseling for individuals. However, it's important that we step up funding for treatment and care. It's also important that awareness programs that are specific for various groups are intensified upon, so that people know the dangers of drug abuse. And it's not just enough to come to the media and say no to drugs, or say yes to life, say no to heroin, be a hero and all of those. That doesn't change anybody. There are key evidence-based information and programs that have been proven to yield results. Okay, recently, last month, I think, the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, just wrapped up their 10-year program, okay, on supporting the Nigerian government on drug response.
All right, we'll get back to you on that so that you can, enlighten us on what we can actually do to reduce drug use now. And I hear that Baba Femi is ready to speak with us. Baba Femi, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
All right, beautiful.
I can hear you loud.
Okay, so yes, you are from the NDLEA, and of course in a better position to speak to us on this. We see the reports. NDLEA is doing so much. Drug traffickers being clamped down, drugs being recovered and destroyed, and all of that. But there are reports that the reason why the success is not that huge as far as clamping down on drug traffickers is concerned is because it's only the couriers that are being arrested and convicted, that the drug barons and cartels are untouchable. Is that true?
I want to correct the claim that what is being done at the moment is not much of a huge success, because I know that in the history of Nigeria, I doubt if when it comes to drug supply reduction, when you talk of seizure of over 5.5 million kilograms, that is more than 5,500 tons of illicit drugs seized within, mopped up from our streets, from our communities within a space of 22 months. That's huge enough. And then when you look at also the arrest, and then for the first time again in the history of Nigeria, you are looking at, you are seeing those that had been untouchable, that have remained invisible for years, talking of the drug barons, because now we don't just go after the moles, the traffickers, the dealers, but we go after those who have the resources to invest heavily in this illicit trade. We go after the moles, we mop up the moles from the streets, from the communities. We go after the big barons, those that have remained untouchable for years. And as I speak with you, we have 29 of them right in behind bars. For those that are not behind bars, they are facing trial in the law court. So that is huge enough. And then going beyond this, you also talk of prosecution. For the first time again, we're having quite a number of them being thrown behind being thrown into jail. This is to actually deter those that think they can get away with committing crime. But beyond that, again, like Dr. Hope Omeza had rightly said in the studio, quite a lot is being done in the area of advocacy, in the area of public awareness to let the people know. That is drug demand reduction. Coming to, for those that even need help, for those that are already into it, for those that are yet to come into it, that is, we're pushing hard advocacy across the country. If you go there, it's just that part of it is not being reported as much as the law enforcement is being reported. That I can tell you because.
Thank you, Baba Femi. Of course, yes, you have actually hit the nail on the head as far as that question is concerned. But could you address the issue of methamphetamine? There are reports that Nigeria was a transit country for this particular substance, but at the moment, Nigeria is an exporter. What's the NDLEA doing concerning that? And then, like Omeza was trying to, tell us, drug users are actually on the increase. And, it's worrisome because we have women and people in rural areas, now in this very bad behavior. What is the NDLEA doing, as far as, ensuring that drug use is reduced to the barest minimum and also getting rehabilitation centers for those who are already into it?
Very well, thank you for that question. Now, I'll tell you, like I did say earlier, that I would even say that the agency is doing much more in the area of drug demand reduction, which are into various, where we have various fronts, starting from prevention, and that is why we're working with the state governors, the wives of the governors. We brought all of them to Abuja recently to engage them, to train them on how to get all of this cascaded down to the grassroots, to the communities in their state. We're not doing it alone. We're deploying a whole society approach, getting everybody. And I appreciate the fact that our very good friend, Dr. Omeza, who is in the studio there, it's one hand that has also been making impact, who has also is part of the stakeholders that have been doing a lot to support the effort of the government in this regard. But then beyond that, again, coming to your question about what the agency is doing about methamphetamine, that I will tell you that this is a drug that for years, was strange to us. We didn't know, people didn't know, didn't have the wherewithal, that is the technical know-how to cook or produce this in Nigeria. But then you have some years ago, you had some foreigners, that is the South Americans, who came in and taught our people. And just last year, towards the end of last year, the last quarter of last year, you had an outbreak in the Southeast, and the agency responded well. And one of such was the recent bust of the clandestine laboratory in VGC Lagos, simultaneously with that of NIPSS community in Anambra State. We were able to, in one single operation, take out 2 labs, in addition to arresting those behind them, and even the cook who was helping them to do that. Again, we also have to work with a lot of communities where this thing was being abused, and as you can see, the kind of videos we're seeing, then you no longer see them, because we worked hard to mop up quite those who were distributing this in the South. And just about a week ago, we had a major operation in the Southeast where we had to go to Abuja State. Okay.
That's true. Thank you very much, Baba Femi. Because of time, we would have to leave it at that point. Femi Baba Femi from the NDLEA, Director of Media and Advocacy. Of course, we hope that the agency will continue to do much more so that, we can actually get rid of this menace. So I'll quickly come to you, Dr. Omeza. Because of time, what will be your last words? How can we make Nigeria a drug-free society?
I will just make reference to the tweet of the country rep, DC, some days ago, where he opined that we should take away discrimination and we should reduce, of course, stigmatization, reduce society barrier, and step up funds for treatment and care. So you see, by the time you do the first two I have mentioned, there will be massive awareness stepping down to the various levels at the ward level, the family level, the local government level, the state level, in a coordinated format.
And in turn, Nigeria would be better for it. Thank you so much, Dr. Hope Omeza, for joining us on Weekend File tonight.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll take a break. Please stay.
It's joy to the world.
Yeah, it's that time of year again.
FRCN, NTA, and Voice of Nigeria Service of 9 Lessons and Carols ushers us into the joyous mood of Christmas.
With beautiful renditions from different choirs that will lift our spirits.
Theme, Fear Not.
Venue, National Christian Center, Abuja.
Date, 4th December 2022.
Time, 3 p.m.
Message giver, His Eminence, Most Reverend Daniel Oko, President, Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN.
Special guest of honor, His Excellency, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, GCON, Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Host, Directors General, FRCN, NTA, and Voice of Nigeria.
Chief Host, Hajlai Mohammed, Minister of Information and Culture.
FRCN, NTA, and Voice of Nigeria Service of 9 Lessons and Carols, supported by Christian Association of Nigeria.
Come and worship with us as we celebrate Christ, one King.
Be there.
In a third final in 20 years.
Now you can get a GoTV decoder, and 1 month of GoTV Jolly for only 4,900 naira and enjoy all the show-stopping games live from Qatar on GoTV.
All right, that's a package on Weekend File tonight. Many thanks for watching. And please remember that the fight against rape and rapists is still on. Join NTA, be a star, and stand against rape. I'm Ian Ray John. Have a good night.
Although social media as a channel of communication is inherently harmless, it becomes harmful and damaging when used without discretion and thoughtfulness. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, reflect, and verify information before sharing it. Be a good social media user. Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source and use social media responsibly for a better Nigeria. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency.
Like to drive in the rain.
It depends on the velocity of the rain.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
This is the network service of the NDA.
It's joy to the world.
Oh yeah, it's that time of year again.
FRCN, NTA, and Voice of Nigeria's Service of 9 Lessons and Carols ushers us into the joyous mood of Christmas.
With beautiful renditions from different choirs that will lift our spirits.
Theme, Fear Not.
Venue, National Christian Center, Abuja.
Date, 4th December 2022.
Time, 3 p.m.
Message giver, His Eminence, Most Reverend Daniel Oko, President, Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN.
Special guest of honor, His Excellency, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, GCON, Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Host, Directors General, FRCN, NTA, and Voice of Nigeria.
Chief host, Alhaji Lai Muhammad, Minister of Information and Culture.
FRCN, NTA, and Voice of Nigeria's Service of 9 Lessons and Carols, supported by Christian Association of Nigeria.
Come worship with us as we celebrate Christ, the newborn King.
Be there.
A new edition of TV Guide is out, featuring an impeccable personality with purposeful leadership, Alhaji Mohammed Mitakobi, the Executive National President of Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria.
In 774 local governments, will be able to put all our structures in everywhere. I'll be able to bring the retained members together, reconcile them to come and work for the progress of the association.
Welcome to a world of fun and excitement as we also present an assemblage of professionals in the media space, some compelling NTA programs, current trends in the fashion world, ICT, sports, entertainment, and lots more. Get a copy at the vendor near you or any NTA station nationwide. TV Guide, your indispensable companion.
In a third Friday in 20 years.
This out of these roads, Yakata. Now you can get a GoTV decoder, no channel, and 1 month of GoTV Jolly for only 4,900 naira, and enjoy all the show-stopping games live from Qatar on GoTV.
Welcome. It's Eye on the Road, the weekly informative and educational update from the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, where we show you the great strides the agency is making in carrying out its mandate of monitoring and maintaining federal roads. The agency just celebrated its 20th anniversary, and in this edition of the program, we'll be bringing you a special feature, FERMA at 20, Surmounting Challenges, Conquering New Grounds. The Federal Roads Maintenance Agency Establishment Act No. 7 was enacted by the National Assembly in 2002. With this act, FERMA became Nigeria's first institutional mechanism for monitoring and maintaining all federal roads in the country.
That used to be the Maintenance Unit Public Works Department of the then Ministry of Works. Wisdom of some, it was perhaps potentially impactful to give it autonomy from the ministry in terms of creating an agency, which has been done, in terms of having its own management,